Hello everyone, in today's video I'm gonna be showing you the top 10 must-have units in this update 10.5. I made sure that everyone in this list are all obtainable, so I hope you guys can drop a like and subscribe since I work hard on these kind of videos. Without further ado, let's go. Yeah, woo. The first unit I'm gonna be mentioning is Mochi. What Karakuri will provide in your team is his slowing. Especially Karakuri recently got buff, making him at least one of the best support in the game right now. And Karakuri will slow the ground opponents by 2.5 seconds. Karakuri's stats at max upgrade and max level sits at 27,612.2 damage with his ability cooldown at 6.5 seconds, making his damage per second 4,248.03. This does not even include his burning damage, which his new DPS will be 4,672.83 as his burning damage does 2,761.22 over 5 ticks, which will be useful in maps such as Fairy Tale map as you will encounter quite a ton of ice opponents. Karakuri will definitely be quite helpful in the brand new tournament, especially that enabled the fast enemies. Karakuri have two power types, the first one being physical and the second one being fire. An alternative unit you can use if you do not own Karakuri is Emily. Although Emily is no longer obtainable, but if you do have her, I recommend using her instead of Karakuri since it seems like everyone uses Emily more in the tournament runs. Moving on to the next unit I'm going to be mentioning is Lord Boron. If you are in need of a damage shield breaker unit with a big range, then I highly suggest getting yourself Lord Boron. Boros will be able to hit both ground and air opponents at upgrade 8, making him a strong unit, especially in how much air and ground opponents you'll see at the late game. Boros stats at max upgrade and max level is 171,226 damage with his ability cooldown at 7 seconds, making his damage per second 24,460.85. And you can place 3 Lord Borons, so this unit is pretty strong. Having Lord Boron unique will give him almost 1 million damage, so I do suggest if you're a pay-to-win user is to get a unique trait on Lord Boron. Do remember that he is a limited unit, so if you want to know how to get this unit, then I highly suggest watching this video right now on the screen. Wow! At least get more than one, especially he is a limited unit, which means in the future he will be worth quite a ton. The next unit I'm going to be mentioning is Nami Thief. Nami has been added into this update 10.5 and she might be one of the best money maker as of yet. Nami Thief stats at max upgrade and max level is 29,622 damage with her ability cooldown at 7.5 seconds, making her DPS 3,849.6. Nami has a pretty awful DPS, although what makes her balanced is that she is already a money maker. She is actually the first money maker unit in a while, and especially she does damage at the same time, making Nami quite valuable at late game. As well as, she is a hybrid unit so she can attack both ground and air opponents. I 100% recommend getting Nami Thief, especially she is a speed card 2.0 and she does damage, bro. And she is a limited unit that you can only get from the Cloud Hunt Game Pass. So Nami will worth quite a ton in the future. Nami has two power types, the first one being magic and the second one being water, which having the mermaid crown relic on Nami is going to be quite strong. Moving on to the next unit that is a must-have in this update 10.5 is Ice Queen. If you are in need of a unit that has a full AoE circle freeze and with a high damage, then getting Ice Queen would not be a bad option. Ice Queen stats at max upgrade and max level sits at 200,418.52 damage with her ability cooldown at 20 seconds, making her damage per second sits at 10,020.93, which is at least one of the best damage per second unit in this update 10.5. Ice Queen can freeze ground opponents at upgrade 8 for 2 seconds, as well as her damage already doing quite a lot, and having a freeze on her kit makes her even stronger. Do remember that Ice Queen is a limited unit, so you can only get her from the secret portal, which she may cost quite a lot in the future. So I suggest getting at least more than one and hope that her trading value will increase over time. The next unit that is gonna be a must-have in this update 10.5 is Dio Over Heaven. If you are in need of an overpower freeze for 20 whole seconds and having a high damage, then I recommend getting Dio Over Heaven. Dio Over Heaven can only be spawned once, although he is the most overpowered unit with his damage at 211,693 damage following his ability cooldown at 6.5 seconds, making his damage per second at 32,568.23. When you spawn Dio Over Heaven, he will have a manual ability, and when activating Time Stop, he will be able to freeze the whole map for 20 seconds, both ground and air opponents. And the cooldown of this ability is 360 seconds. The only way to get Dio Over Heaven right now is opening the Christmas orbs, where you spend your stars you farm from the portals or quests. I definitely suggest using multiple alt accounts and grind on all of them to have a better chance on getting Dio Over Heaven. Dio Over Heaven also have two types of powers, the first one being magic and his secondary being light. Moving on to the next unit that is a must-have is Julia Wizard King. Julia Wizard King has this ability for you to rewind back, which pushing back enemies for 4.5 seconds, which is a pretty strong ability. Although, do remember when using Chrono Reversal, bosses will not be pushed back. Julia Wizard King's stats at max upgrade and max level is 196,256 damage with his ability cooldown at 8 seconds, making his damage per second at 24,532. Do remember that he is a burst type unit and can only be placed once. An alternative unit to use is Tatsumaki Tornado. Or Tornado. You'll definitely would want this unit as a support, especially for a leaderboard runs. Tatsumaki stats at max upgrade and max level is 144,668 damage with her ability cooldown at 12.4 seconds, making her damage per second at 11,666.77. At upgrade 9, Tatsumaki will be able to hit both air and ground opponents. She will be able to knock back the enemies for 1.5 seconds, which she will be quite good, especially on how much damage she is already doing, and pretty pog unit. The next units I'm going to be mentioning are the top 3 best heal units. The first one I'm going to be saying is Metal Knight Arsenal. I definitely recommend getting Metal Knight Arsenal even if it is unevolved. Metal Knight will still carry you in your act modes. Metal Knight Arsenal stats on max upgrade and max level is 129,881 damage with his ability cooldown at 6.1 seconds, making their damage per second at 21,291.96. Do remember that Metal Knight Arsenal can only be placed down 2 times. Metal Knight is also a multi-hit unit, which will be really good against shield opponents. You also need opponent's kills to be able to spawn his drones, especially he is a summoner unit, will do half of Metal Knight's damage. Having a unique trait on Metal Knight will be insanely OP. An alternative unit you can go for in this update 10.5 is Yono Spirit, since he is the best shield breaker heal unit along with his great damage. Yono Spirit is a multi-hit unit, which bring him in certain maps that have shield opponents, he will perform very well against them. Yono Spirit's stats at max level and max upgrade is 62,817.74 damage with his ability cooldown at 10 seconds, making his damage per second sitting at 6,281.77. And if you are in need of a physical heal tap unit, then going for Soifan Hornet is gonna be the best option to have. Soifan's Hornet's damage type is a burst type, so she won't do well against shield opponents. Soifan's stats at max upgrade and max level sits at 40,737 damage following her ability cooldown at 5.8 seconds, making her damage per second at 7,283.62. The traits that Soifan can really benefit from is Godspeed or Divine. The next units I'm going to be mentioning are overpowered in this update 10.5, which is none other than Chainsaw Hybrid plus Power Fiend. These duo are definitely one of the best units to have in your team, especially Power Fiend's abilities makes any bleed do 5 times the damage. Chainsaw Hybrid stats on max upgrade and max level is 64,612.54 with his ability cooldown at 8.5 seconds, making his damage per second at 7,601.47. And his bleeding damage does half of his damage, so I highly recommend getting Superior, Nimble, or Divine, which are the best traits you can have on him. Especially he is a multi-hit too, which lets him proc his bleeding. And Power Fiend stats on max upgrade and max level is 74,092.72 damage with her ability cooldown at 9 seconds, making her damage per second at 8,232.52, which is one of the best damage per second support unit out there, currently in update 10.5. Power Fiend can be paired with any other bleeding units, although the best one being paired is Chainsaw Hybrid and Secret Denji, as they are the best bleeding units as of update 10.5. The next unit that is a must-have in this update 10.5 is Final and Wenda. If you need a shield breaker unit, a hybrid unit with huge damage, and a multi-hit unit, then Final will be the best unit to have. Final stats on max upgrade and max level is 249,567 damage with his ability cooldown at 15 seconds, making his damage per second at 16,637.8, which is one of the best damage per second unit out there in update 10.5. When you get Final upgrade 9, he will be able to attack both ground and air opponents, which as you progress on your infinite mode, depending on the map, you will be encountering a lot more flying opponents, which Aizen will be able to help with that. Final also have a manual ability called Kanzen Seimin. Once activated, the opponents will be pushed back and shielding your base. This ability is at least one of the most overpowered in the game as we speak. You'll definitely want him to be unique since he'll be useful in leaderboard runs. Another unit that is definitely worth to bring along with Final, especially if you are doing tournament runs, is Wenda. When activating her ability called Sky Enchantment, it will increase the magic damage stats of a unit in her range by 30%. The buff will last for 20 seconds and the ability has a cooldown of 60 seconds, so wisely buff your units. Wenda also got recently buffed on her damage upgrade. Before, she was not getting any damage when you upgrade her, but now her damage goes up to 20,000. Moving on to the next unit that is a must-have is Pucci Heaven. This unit is definitely still one of the most overpowered unit out there in update 10.5. This unit can be used as support or a damage dealer, especially he have this ability at upgrade 9 called Time Acceleration. When activated, his ability cooldown and his allies ability cooldown will be lowered by 50%, and this will last for 30 whole seconds, which is quite useful when defeating high HP bosses, which is insanely overpowered for a support unit to have. Pucci Heaven stats on max upgrade and max level is 49,064 damage with his ability cooldown at 3.4 seconds, making his damage per second at 14,430.58, which is one of the best DPS unit out there as of right now. If you're gonna be using him as a support unit, the best relic you can have on him is Mermaid Crown. Or if you are gonna be using him as your main DPS, then the best relic on him would be Miracle Timepiece. If you do want to learn on how to evolve him, I recommend watching my videos of me evolving my Pucci to Pucci Heaven, which will be linked in the description. Yeah, let's go! Yahoo! Thank you all so much for watching my top 10 most essential unit you must have in this update 10.5. If you do agree or disagree with some of the units I have mentioned in this video, do let me know down in the comments since I am most likely reading them. Yeah, and also again, thank you very much. And yeah, thank you for watching till the end. You guys are amazing. I love you guys. Have a lovely day or good night, bro. Yeah. Thank you guys. Also, I just unlocked myself Tatsumiki. Yay. Yay. Took me very long time. And let's see if we can get golden on our Puma. Imagine if we do. Golden. That's the opposite, bro.